Grace and peace, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Faith, presented to you by Believers Ministries, where we are reaching the community with the love of Christ, one person, one family at a time. Join us today as we take excerpts from our guest speaker, Minister Doreen Dawkins from Raymond Christian.
Today's subject is the great I am. The third thing we need to learn about the great I am, according to Exodus chapter 3, verses 10 through 12, is God is able to use us past our insecurities. Moses is already questioning God. God, wait a minute, who am I? Are you sure you called the right person? Now, wait a minute here. Now, something ain't right. And we find, we're not going to read that verse, but we found later in Exodus 4:10 that Moses says he's slow of speech. That means Moses stuttered. So, how you going to be a leader and you stuttering? God can call whoever to do whatever, in spite whatever. There's nothing too difficult for God. His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And so we have all these limitations on our lives based on who we believe we are instead of who God is. The fourth thing we need to learn about the great I am, according to Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 to 14, is that God can be whatever we need him to be. Amen. So if we need him to be provider, Jehovah Jireh, the Lord my provider. If we need for him to be a deliverer, he can be a deliverer. If we need him to be a way maker, he can be a way maker. If we need him to be a burden bearer, he can be a burden bearer. If we need him to be a heavy load sharer, he can be a heavy load sharer. So whatever it is that we need God to be in our life, that's what he can be for you. And that's what he can be for me.
Thank you.
The sixth thing we need to learn about the great I am, according to John 11:25, is that Jesus has resurrection power. Now, as the believer, we believe in the rapture and everything, but he has resurrection power on earth. He can resurrect the purpose to which he created you. He can resurrect some things, because we've made some poor choices and we done gave up on what God told us to do. But God has the ability to breathe on some things and resurrect some things, and God can move some things. And sometimes it looks like you done lost, because everybody know I'm a competitor. I want to win at all costs. And there's a point in the story sometimes where it looks like it's the third quarter and they up 10, and it looked like ain't gonna make it this time. But then something happens, and God shows up, and you can't even explain it, because you're trying to, oh Lord, let's see, my ankle hurt, but I'm gonna have to do something. No, God shows up sometimes. You throw the ball up and it just go in. Wait a minute, that wasn't even on the right trajectory, but that's a 3-point. So God makes a way out of no way. And sometimes, like I said, it looks like the workers of iniquity are getting ahead, but no, baby, in the end, my side wins. In the end, it looks like you win. It looks like you're winning right now, but keep on living, because see, right now it looks bad, but after a while, and here's another part. If you're a believer and you're still on earth, in the end, there's a thing called the rapture, where the dead in Christ shall rise first. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 51 through 53 said, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trump shall sound, and the dead shall rise incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For the corruption must put on incorruption, and the mortal must put on immortality." So in the end, see, there's a thing in the end. So even if you got away with it, or you think you got away with all your little conniving stuff on earth, in the end, there's a thing called a rapture, and you might miss it. You be sitting here, and guess what? Ultimately, you're going to be judged by what you did on earth. So either you're going to be in a very hot place, and when we talking hot, Atlanta is hot, but hell is way hotter than Atlanta. Bahamas is hot, but the hell is way hotter than the Bahamas. Jamaica is hot, but hell is way hotter than Jamaica.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of the Lord. I do not want to hear, depart from me. I knew you not, you worker of iniquity. Eject button. Hot.
Encourage you today, and we'd like to take this time to cordially invite you to join us for service. And we're located at 465 Waterbury Ct Suite E, Gahanna, Ohio. For more information about our services, feel free to visit the web at www.believersministries.net.